Hello and welcome back to our channel again. Thank you for joining me. My name is Miss Electoli and I am a faculty of English at Edufy. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, and that is adverbs. Adverbs are parts of speech that are included in our grammar. As we speak English, when we talk about English, we use parts of speech, and adverb is one of those parts of speech. And when we look at this word, we will understand in the word itself the meaning of adverb, and that is adverb. They are additions to verbs. That means whatever you will find that is performed or actions that are being performed, you will find that adverbs are adding to those actions. Now, is it just verbs that adverbs add on to, or is it something more? So we will know that as we move on to the topics. First and foremost, look at what is an adverb. An adverb is a word that gives us more information about verb, adjectives, or even another adverb. So three things you have to remember is that an adverb is not just going to add more information or give you more information about verbs, but it also gives you more information about an adjective and even an adverb themselves. So these are the three things that you have to remember when we talk about adverbs. Basically, the meaning is there in the word itself, that is adding to verbs, right? But not just verbs, but it's also added to adjectives and even adverbs. So what are the adverbs that modify verbs? The adverbs that modify verbs means they will give you more information about the action of the subject. Somebody performs an action. Let's say she is sleeping or Ram is walking, right? Walking and sleeping are both actions denoting somebody performing an action. Now, if I say Ram is sleeping peacefully. What am I saying? Sleeping peacefully. So the word sleeping is an action, and the word added peacefully is showing you what? More meaning. That means it is giving you information about how Ram is sleeping. Sleeping is a verb, right? So whichever information is giving you the information about the verb, it will be considered as an adverb. Therefore, in the sentence of Ram is sleeping peacefully, peacefully will be considered as an adverb. So take a look at this example. She runs quickly. Can you find the subject in this sentence? She runs quickly. Subject is she in this sentence. She is the subject. Now, in that case, what do? We are going to look at what she is doing, the action. It is runs. Runs is the verb showing us the action performed by she. Again, there's another word in the sentence, that is quickly. She runs quickly. Now, what is this word telling you? It is telling you about what? How she is running. What is the pace of her running? How is she running? Quickly, right? The speed of her running is quickly. So it is telling you about the manner of the verb, the action in which it is performed. So therefore, this one will be considered as an adverb. So adverbs modify verbs. They show you more information or give you more information to add on to the verb. If you look on to example number 2, he spoke loudly at the meeting. Can you find the subject in the sentence? He, right? Now, as we're clear about what are adverbs that modify verbs, we will move on to another topic, and that is adverbs that modify adjectives. Like I said in the definition, there are three things that we have to remember: verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. What are these three? These three are the parts of speech that are modified by adverbs, right? So first we're clear with what adverbs do when it tries to modify verbs. In the second case is we have to look at whether adverbs are also able to modify adjectives, and how do they do that? Adverbs can also change the meaning of an adjective, okay? And how do they do that? They do in this way. Let's take a look at the example. The cake is very delicious. Here we're talking about the cake. The cake is a noun, right? And which word is describing the noun? It is the word delicious. So delicious is the word that is describing the cake. So in that case, the cake becomes the noun and this one becomes an adjective. This much very clear. Now, when once we look into the sentence, we also see this very important word, and it is showing you that it was very delicious. So the word very will be considered as an adverb. Adverbs that modify adjectives as well. If you look at this example, you will understand that delicious is the adjective and the word very is the adverb telling us to what extent. Now, it is not, if I say the cake is delicious, I'm just saying that it is delicious according to my taste, right? If I say the cake is very delicious, I'm saying that it is much more better than normal, what I expected, right? So the word very is giving you more information about the adjective and also changing the meaning of the word delicious. If you take a look at another example, she is extremely talented. Again, we find this one as the subject. This is a pronoun. As far as we know and understand adjectives, we know that adjectives modify noun or a pronoun because pronouns are basically substitutes of a noun. So if you look at this, she is extremely talented. You find that the word talented is describing who? She. We're describing her ability, right? So therefore, talented is describing she. This one becomes an adjective again. So which word is giving you more information or giving you an understanding of to what extent she is talented? It is the word extremely, right? So therefore, what will you find? This one will be considered as an adverb. Adverbs, what do? They will basically modify verbs. They will also modify what? Adjectives in this manner. They will tell you to what extent the action is and to, or they will tell you how an action is being performed or to what extent an adjective is in a sentence. Now let's move on to the next one. Adverbs modify adverbs. Now this one is very simple if you understand the concept, but again it might get confusing for a lot of students and for a lot of aspirants when we say that adverbs modify adverbs. What does this mean, right? You just take a look at the single example and it will be very clear to you. He ran really quickly. In this sentence, we have the subject he. He ran really quickly. Now the word ran, what is it? Is it denoting an action? Yes. What is it? It is a verb. Verbs denote actions, right? So he ran is there. How did he run? Quickly. As far as we know, if I am giving you more information about the verb, it is considered as an adverb, right? Now, in the sentence, you will also find another adverb, and that is the word really. And why is it considered an adverb? Because here it is telling you to what extent the action was performed. So here it is he ran and then you have quickly. This is very clear. Again, there's another word really telling you more information or giving you more information about the adverb. So therefore, adverbs modify adverbs themselves. Not just the verbs, not just an adjective, but adverbs themselves. Here you can see quickly is an adverb telling us how he ran. And really is another adverb telling us how quickly, that means to what extent, right? So we can see that if I say she spoke very softly. Let's take an example. If I say she spoke very softly. In the sentence, she is the subject, right? Spoke is the action, so therefore it will be considered a verb. Then we have the word softly. How did she speak? She spoke softly in a calm manner, right? Without being loud. So therefore, this one is considered as an adverb because it is giving you more information about how she spoke. Again, we have another word, very. What is it showing you? It is telling us how or to what extent she spoke softly. She spoke very softly. So what you see here is this one is also will be considered as an adverb. So through these examples, you will understand that adverbs not only come as a modification for verbs, but they also come with adjectives and even for adverbs themselves. So this means that you can use two adjectives in a sentence. Sorry, you can use so this means that you can use two adverbs in a sentence, and it will always be considered as a correct sentence if you use them in this manner to give us more information about the verbs. When we move on to the next portion, we will also see that we are going to talk about types of adverbs. Now, if you understand this, it is very simple. Types of adverbs are very simple, and if you look here, you will find them. First is the adverb of manner, how something happens. Adverb of manner will give you the information about the verb, and they will say how the action has happened. If I say she danced gracefully, she is the subject in the sentence, and what did she do? She danced. So she is the subject, danced is the verb, and now I am using the word gracefully, trying to tell you about how she danced. So how something happens is answered through the adverb of manner. Adverbs of time, if you look at this, when something happens, it will tell you about the action and when it happened. I'll call you tomorrow. I'll call you tomorrow. Call is the verb, and which word is giving you more information about the word call? When am I going to call you? Tomorrow. So what is it? It is saying that it is answering the question of when something is going to happen. So it will be understood as adverb of time. Next one, adverbs of place, where something happens. Again, we'll have to look at the adverb of place. What does it tell you? Where something has happened. So they looked everywhere. Where did they look? Everywhere. Looked is the verb, right? They looked everywhere. Where did they look? Answering the question, it is the word everywhere. So therefore, everywhere will be considered as the adverb of place. Next one, adverb of frequency means how often something happens. How often something happens. He always arrives early. He is the subject. Where is the verb here in the sentence? It is very clear, right? And what is that? Arrives is the verb in the sentence. When does it arrive? When does he arrive? He arrives early. And there's also another word that is always. What is it saying? How often does he arrive early? He arrives early always, right? So it is answering the question of how often. So this word will be considered as adverbs of frequency. Okay? She never listens to me. Never will be considered as adverbs of frequency, right? Why? Because it is telling us how often she doesn't listen to us. Never. Okay? So this is the way, these are the different types of adverbs that we must consider when we talk about adverbs. The first one is adverb of manner, the second one is adverb of time, third is adverb of place, and the fourth one is adverb of frequency. These are some of the major adverbs that we must understand and keep in our mind when we talk about adverbs. There is another thing that we have to consider that with adverbs, and that is we always see that adverbs comes with a very interesting component, and that is the word ly. Common adverbs, clues, ly ending. That means a lot of adverbs have ly at the end of it. Quickly, slowly, hastily, right? Peacefully, honestly. All these are what? They are adverbs. And they all come with ly at the end of that word. When you see this one, slowly, happily, quietly, they're all going to describe a verb, that is the action, and they all come with the ly. Does this mean that all adverbs have ly at the end? No, they don't. Not all of them have ly at the end. For example, you look at these words now, here, often, very. These are all adverbs, but they do not come with ly. So do not associate adverbs with just ly. Okay? Yes, there are many adverbs that has ly at the end of it, but that does not mean that all adverbs have ly at the end. The main thing that you have to understand is the function. What is the function of the word that is here in the sentence, whether it is modifying the verb, adjective, or an adverb themselves, and if so, then yes, it's an adverb. And if not, then you cannot consider them as an adverb. Okay? So main thing that you have to remember is what? The function that it is performing. Once you remember that, it will be easy for you to identify what is an adverb. And that is words that modify verbs, words that modify an adjective, and also an adverb themselves. So I hope we're clear about all of these topics that we've discussed. Now, if we move on, now since we've discussed all the interesting parts of speech, that is adverbs, and also the various notions that we have to consider when we have adverbs. Now, let's test your knowledge on whether you've understood what is an adverb. In this sentence, you will see the dog barked loudly at the stranger. Can you find the adverb in this sentence? I think you do, right? It is the word loudly. What is it doing? Giving you information about the action of barked. In the second sentence, she almost always arrives on time. Can you tell me where is the adverb in this sentence? Yes, it is almost or always. If you have underlined this or if you have identified this, then you're very clear about what is an adverb. And that is adverbs, they also modify verbs and also an adverb themselves in a sentence. So with this, these are various or topics that you have to remember and the basics of adverbs. These are very basic idea that you have to have when you are considering learning grammar, especially learning adverbs. And that is these points. Once you've understood this, once you've mastered this, it will become easier for you to go forward into other parts of the syllabus. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully you can join us again in the next class. Have a nice day.